Lisbon is one of my favorite cities where I keep coming back. The beautiful neighborhoods and narrow, charming streets, I enjoy it every time. Want to escape the hustle and bustle of the city? There is also plenty to see and do around Lisbon. You can be on one of Portugal's most beautiful beaches within half an hour, or imagine yourself in a fairy tale world in Sintra. Moreover, Lisbon is the city with the most hours of sunshine in Europe. Convinced that you really have to go to Lisbon soon? I will take you on another city trip, but don't forget to like and subscribe. Visit the Mosteiro dos Jerónimos. One of the most beautiful sites in Lisbon is the Mosteiro dos Jerónimos. Located in the historic Belem district, this 16th century monastery is one of Lisbon's 2 World Heritage Sites. I recommend ordering skip-the-line tickets so you can skip the often long line on the spot. Climb the Torre de Belem. One of the top Lisbon landmarks is the Torre de Belem. Located near the Jerónimos Monastery, this famous tower is Lisbon's other World Heritage Site. You can climb the tower, and from the top you will have a great view over the Tagus River. I definitely recommend setting aside a day to visit the historic Belem district. Take a ride in the Tram 28. The quickest and most fun way to explore Lisbon's old town is by taking a ride on the historic Tram 28. This tram travels through the city's historic district via narrow streets and steep inclines. Is there a long queue for Tram 28? Then Tram 12E is a good alternative. Want to ride the original route of Tram 28 and don't have the time or inclination to queue for a long time? Then opt for the Hills tramcar. This tourist tram is a bit more expensive, but also a whole lot quieter. Admire Castelo de Sao Jorge. The beautiful Castelo de Sao Jorge is Lisbon's most famous and oldest castle. Part of this castle dates back to the 6th century BC. The castle is located on the city's highest hill, so you can admire it from all over Lisbon. Don't miss the castle garden with its many peacocks. Praça de Comércio. Praça de Comércio is Lisbon's largest and most famous square. It is also called the Palace Square because of the Ribeira Palace that used to stand there. Both by day and by night, a visit to this impressive square is highly recommended. The Arco de Rua Augusta is the arch connecting Praça de Comércio to Rua Augusta. What many people don't know is that you can climb this arch for €3. With a Lisbo card, this is even free. Take the Santa Justa elevator from Baixa to Chiado. The Santa Justa elevator is without a doubt the most extraordinary lift I have ever been in. Apart from being very beautiful because of its Gothic architecture, the lift is also so special because it connects 2 neighborhoods separated by the huge difference in height. Get on the lift at the bottom of Santa Justa Street in the Baixa district and get off at 45 meters in the Carmelo Square in the Chiado district. Visit one of the Lisbon's many miradouros. Because Lisbon is built on 7 hills, there are a huge number of beautiful viewpoints. These are called miradouros or golden view in Portuguese. One of my favorite viewpoints is Miradouro Santa Lucia. Here you have a great view over the old Alfama district and the Tagus River. But the Miradouro itself is also stunning with its typical Portuguese tiles and beautiful pink bougainvillea. From here you can also walk straight to the nearby Miradouro Largo das Portas de Sol. Admire the arches of the Carmo Convent. The Convento da Ordem do Carmo, better known as the Carmo Monastery, is an impressive ruined monastery with a church on the border between the Baixa and Chiado districts. Both the church and the convent were badly damaged during an earthquake in Lisbon in 1755. Instead of restoring the church, it was decided to preserve the ruins this way. Enjoy delicious food at the Time Out Market, Lisbon. Do you love good food while traveling? Then don't miss the Time Out Market. This trendy food hall was even named one of the 3 best food halls in the whole of Europe by Lonely Planet. The Time Out Market is located in the Mercado de Ribeira, the city's oldest market hall. The market opens at 10 in the morning and closes at midnight or 2 a.m. depending on the day of the week. Taste the famous Pasteis de Nata. If there's one thing you should definitely eat in Lisbon, it's the Pasteis de Nata. This popular pastry is Portugal's icon and you can find in any bakery or supermarket. It's a kind of a small tart with puff pastry and custard filling, traditionally eaten with some icing, sugar, and cinnamon on top. Stroll through the beautiful Alfama district. Alfama is Lisbon's oldest neighborhood and one of the most beautiful as far as I'm concerned. The narrow streets, the many steps, the beautiful traditional tiles, the hidden terraces, it is all equally atmospheric. There are many hidden corners in Alfama and it's bursting with historical sites. Visit the LX Factory. One of the Lisbon's hippest, most original spots is the LX Factory. This former factory site is bursting with unique shops, quaint restaurants, and fine terraces. Explore Parque das Nações. Another modern district in Lisbon is Parque das Nações. This former expo site has an almost futuristic feel to it. It is completely different from Lisbon's historic center, but it is this variety that makes the city so much more fun in my opinion. Visit the Lisbon Oceanarium. Even in a sunny city like Lisbon, it sometimes rains, in which case a visit to the Lisbon Oceanarium is a very cool option. Even on a hot day, the air conditioning here is a welcomed refreshment. In the Oceanarium, you admire a beautiful underwater world full of tropical fish, rays, and sharks. You will also find puffins, penguins, and otters, among others. Lisbon's Golden Gate Bridge. One of the Lisbon's iconic is the Ponte 25 de Abril, also known as Lisbon's Golden Gate Bridge. In fact, this bridge closely resembles the famous Red Bridge in San Francisco. Not surprisingly, since it was also built by the American Bridge Company. Enjoy the view from the Cristo Rei statue. Besides a copied bridge from San Francisco, there is another structure that is strongly reminiscent of another city. Across the bridge, you can see over 100-meter-high statue of Jesus, also known as Cristo Rei. This statue is based on the famous Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro. Take a boat trip on the Tagus and spot dolphins. Fancy a day on the water? Then book a sailing trip on the Tagus River, taking 2 hours to sail along Lisbon's historic coastline. Meanwhile, an experienced guide will tell you more about the area's fascinating history. Besides a beautiful view of the Lisbon's coast, this boat trip gives you a great chance to see wild dolphins in their natural habitat. Admire the Cathedrals and the National Pantheon. Would you like to soak up some more culture? Then there are plenty of beautiful sites to visit in Lisbon. One of the most impressive is the Cathedral, located in the Alfama district. It is one of the Lisbon's oldest and most beautiful cathedrals. You can easily combine a visit to Catedral with the Panteão Nacional or National Pantheon. Admire the castles and palaces of Sintra. Just 40 minutes from Lisbon lies beautiful Sintra. If there's one thing I think you should definitely do in Lisbon, it's take a day trip to this fairy tale city. Indeed, Sintra is full of magnificent castles, palaces, and mansions surrounded by the most beautiful gardens and parks. In 1995, Sintra was even declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Visit Europe's westernmost point. Lisbon is the westernmost capital of continental Europe. Not surprisingly, the westernmost point of continental Europe is nearby. This point, called Cabo da Roca, is about 42 kilometers from Lisbon. Nature here is fantastic. You can take a lovely walk there and enjoy the beautiful view of the sea some 150 meters below you. Also, be sure to take a look at the large lighthouse, which was built back in 1772. Lisbon is a fantastic city to visit. The atmosphere and the lovely weather. Definitely a city for your bucket list. I hope my tips will help you again during your visit. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you on the next trip.